For the last section of chapter 3, we're talking about another application of radian measures. So you remember in 3.2, we talked about arc length and sector area. This is another application of radians, and it's linear and angular speed. When I'm talking about linear speed is the measure of how fast the position of point P, right here, this is point P, is changing, measured in a unit of distance per unit of time. So think of that like, I don't want to call it velocity because it's not, but you can kind of think of it like velocity. So this is going to be miles per hour, feet per second, things like that that you would measure velocity. That's what we're doing with angular speed. If you were an object this far away from the center of rotation, how fast would you be traveling around the circle? That's what linear speed is answering. On the other hand, when we talk about angular speed is the measure of how fast the angle, the theta, is changing. It says angle POB because when we name angles and we have 3 letters, we go from point P, turning at point O, ending at point B, or I guess at the ray that goes through B. So that's how we indicate which of the larger or smaller angles we're talking about. But it's just talking about how this angle is changing. So our applications today are going to ask us for both linear speed and angular speed and other different creative ways that we can answer questions. Today's going to kind of feel like we're doing physics because we kind of are. And everybody gets sad. There's 2 formulas that we need for linear and angular speed. Linear speed, we in fact use V like velocity, which is why it kind of looks like it to us. The formula for linear speed is S over T. And if you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, what is S? Back in math though, in chapter 3.2, we talked about S being the arc length. So we're just taking the arc length and dividing it by time, whatever unit of time we're using. Now, if we think again about speed or velocity is, or rate, is distance divided by time. This gives me distance, arc length, divided by time. So it's really just velocity. It's just the rate at which point P is moving around the circle. Now here's something interesting though, because we know that arc length has a formula for 3.2. Does anybody remember that formula from 3.2? How do you find arc length?
I forgot. Theta over 2.
Arc length is S
Yeah.
equals...
So, that one was sector area.
Oh.
R times theta. So we can just rewrite the formula for linear speed, showing the work we would have to do for arc length anyways. So yes, it's arc length, but usually you're not just given arc length, you'll be given a radius and an angle, so you can use them to find the arc length, aka we're going to probably be using this formula more often, that linear speed is radius times theta over t. That is still a distance divided by time, so we're still finding speed. On the other hand, angular speed, which, by the way, this is not a W. Please do not call it W. That is the Greek letter omega. Everybody say omega.
That's a W or K?
What? No. Okay, this is a W. This is omega. Do you see the difference between them?
No.
Let me do it again. W, omega.
That's the same thing.
Do you see the difference in how I'm writing the letters? Okay, more curvy. It's kind of like you have a T in print and then you have the T I've been using in math all year. They're different, yes? Okay, because we're using the Greek letter omega, please don't make it look like a W. Correct. We got to make it look right. So we're talking about omega here. In fact, you might want to write that down for yourself so you don't call it W, because I'm going to charge you a quick buck if you call it W. It's called omega, okay? What if we don't have any? Yes.
Okay.
It'll be a wall sit. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I joke. Okay, angular speed. The formula for angular speed is just simply theta divided by time. Because we're talking about how fast the angle is changing per time. Angular speed is always measured in radians per unit of time. So we're talking about radians per second, radians per hour, radians per day, something like that over a unit of time. So we would need an angle and we would need a time to find the angular speed omega. Cool? Great. We're going to hop right into it because all we're doing today is applications of these two formulas. I don't know exactly how you're taught physics anymore, but when I learned physics not too long ago, because it's not been that long, what we were told was to list out everything you've been given and what you want to know so that you can then pull the correct formula to relate these variables together. So you're going to list out every variable given to you in the problem, which is probably going to be t, r, and theta. Maybe you'd already be given an omega. Maybe you'd already be given a velocity, a linear speed. But whatever we're given, we're going to list it out. And then we're going to look at the formulas to see what we can figure out based on what we have. So this problem says a belt, that's this thing right here, runs on a pulley of radius 6. Okay, so I see already that I have radius equal to 6 centimeters at 80 revolutions per minute. So I know that I have 80 revolutions per 1 minute. That's not necessarily one of the letters that we have yet. We'll get there. Find the angular speed of the pulley in radians per second and the linear speed of the belt in centimeters per second. So we know that eventually we want to find omega and we want to find v. Here's some things we know. Every single revolution is how many radians? 2 pi. We're going around a circle, yeah? So that means we know that our angle is going to be 2 pi. We just need to figure out how long it takes us to do 2 pi.
Can you repeat that?
Every revolution is 2 pi radians, like 360 degrees. So I need to figure out how long it takes for me to do one single revolution. If I were to change 80 revolutions into 1 revolution, what did I divide 80 by? By 80, right? 80 over 80 is 1. So if I take 1 minute and I divide it by 80, I'm going to have 1/80th of a minute, which is how many minutes it takes for me to do 1 revolution. Now, of course, the problem with this is that my problem wants this per second. How do we go from minutes to seconds? Don't think like degrees, minutes, seconds. Think like a clock. How do you go from minutes to seconds? You times it by 60. And if you're like, how do you know that? If I were trying to get minutes to go away, I'd say 1 minute is 60 seconds. So I'm multiplying by 60 so that the minutes cancel out. I get 60 over 80. And if we get 60 over 80 and we reduce that fraction down, we would find out that every 2 pi radians, which is 1 revolution, we have 3/4 of a second passing by. Because 60 over 80 is 3/4. 60 over 80, 3/4. So now I know that the time for each individual rotation is 3/4 second. I'm now ready to answer the questions in this problem that ask me to find the linear speed and the angular speed. We'll go angular speed first. All right, we're going to find omega. What was the formula for omega again?
Theta over time.
Theta over time. So we know we've gone 2 pi radians over 3/4 of a second. I know that you can use a calculator for this, but because I'm your math teacher, I'm going to make you think. How do you divide by a fraction? Keep, change, flip. We keep the 2 pi. We change the big divide to a multiply. We flip the fraction. This ends up being 8 pi over 3 radians per second. That is omega. Omega is measured in radians per unit time, and we're doing radians per second. So we divided radians and seconds. Mathematically, it made me do keep, change, flip. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3.
That's really cool.
So it's 8 pi over 3. And now that I have omega, I can find the linear speed. Look up at the top of your paper. What was the formula for linear speed? Maybe the second formula we wrote down.
Times theta over time.
Radius times theta over time. So I have the radius. I have the theta. I can divide by the time. Radius times theta divided by time. Now again, I can take this 12 pi that was in the numerator and I can multiply it by the reciprocal of that denominator. That's keep, change, flip. I know you could put this in a calculator, but how boring. Let's do it this way. What is 12 times 4? 48. What's 48 divided by 3? 16 pi. So this is 16 pi centimeters per second. Now, is every problem involving angular and linear speed solved in the same way? No. You will be given different pieces of information for each problem, and you have to use your creative problem-solving skills to find out which formulas you're going to have to use. Sometimes you have to go back and forth. Sometimes you find them in a different order. Sometimes you're not given radius, and you're actually looking for the radius, but you're given omega. Those sorts of things. I highly recommend to list out everything you have and potentially what you're looking for, so that you know what formulas you've unlocked based on what you know and what you can solve for.
Is that it?
That's it for today.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, one example. But that also means that you have the 6 examples on the whiteboard and the challenge question at the bottom to do for the rest of class.
How many questions on the homework?
Correct.